You're welcome to derealyou.com. This is a channel that is designated to the most important person in the world. Yeah, I'm talking about you and you. Yeah, that's who you are. You are very valuable. You're very special because you are a limited edition. There's no one like you, and there will be no one like you after you. So that's why I created this channel. Just in case you've not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button, the notification button, and like I say, you're free to share. It's so interesting to know that we live in a world that's made up of two people, yes, two categories of people. The people who sit down and watch things happen, and the people who actually make things happen. The people who act and the people who are the spectators. Again, I'd like to ask you, which group do you belong to? You know, when you look at, I'm in no way putting down the sports of football. I have people who love football. I managed to look at it. It's not like I'm a fan of it, but I love to watch it because it tells me a lot of stories about it. About life, rather. Football tells me a lot of stories about life. So I like to watch and I see what happens. Do you know in the football field, there are just about 22 people or thereabout that play the match, that run around, you know, and there are officiating or the people who officiate the match. But interestingly, the stadium is usually filled with hundreds of thousands of people. And even online, people are connected to just watch to see the outcome. And you know the interesting part about football? It tells me about how life is. Most times, the majority of people sit down and they watch other people do their thing while they spend their time, they spend their energy, they spend their resources to watch the people. And it's not as if after watching it will be over. They will go out to even quarrel and fight over the people who are earning money. Can you imagine? You paid your money, spent your time on your energy, sometimes even in the snow, to come watch people get paid. And then you end up fighting on behalf of the people who got paid, who have been protected back into their tunnels. Wow, that is exactly what life looks like. You know, one of the profound statements that I've heard in my life is that which was written by Solomon in Ecclesiastes, where he said, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. And several years after, William Shakespeare came and corroborated that fact when he said that the world we live in is a stage. There's entry point for everybody, there's exit point, and everybody plays a role, several roles. And believe me, you are created to play a role, and you must get into the stage and begin to play that role. That's what I'm talking to you about today. If you want to climb the stage of life and play and become an actor yourself, then there are 4 things that you must do. One is that you must always identify when there is a vacuum. Interestingly, nobody quits the stage for anybody. So if you're waiting for when people will leave the stage for you, you may never get that time. It's like some people would say, maximize the moment. When you see a vacuum, fill it. Number 2, you should be a volunteer. You know, most times when you meet people, the first thing they talk about is, how much are you going to pay me if I do this? That's good. It's good to earn. People do things to earn. But it is actually beyond that. When you volunteer, you will realize that that gap you filled would be that which will take you to that place where you will begin to earn a lot. And then the third thing that you should do to get into the stage is to use what you have. Beloved, you may not have everything, you may not even have something like your neighbor, but I assure you that you do have something. So use what you have to meet or fulfill or meet that gap or bridge that gap. And then number 4, give it all. I'm going to explain this and then I'll say a little bit about the fact that everybody you see on earth did this. Whenever there is a need, it means that something new is about to happen. For instance, Joseph, that we read about, a dreamer, we'll talk about Daniel, we'll talk about David, we'll talk about these 3 people. Just follow me. Joseph was in a place where a fellow prisoner was sad. And what did he do? He offered to interpret their dreams. Oh, come on. What does a fellow prisoner have to pay him? Nothing, but he did voluntarily. And you know the rest is history. He was called to come and interpret the king's dream. David went to the battlefront And then he saw that there was a vacuum. Israel needed somebody to fight and bring Goliath down. He volunteered. Are you catching my flow? And then we can talk about somebody like Daniel. He volunteered, another dream interpreter, to interpret the dreams. You can take your time to go through the lives of people. You will say she's talking only about Bible. What about the Wright brothers? They were looking at the world and then they realized that if people can travel on road, then people can also travel by air. So they decided that they were going to make something that will enable people to travel by air. Today, the rest is history. We travel miles, we go across the Atlantic and everywhere because two brothers decided that they were going to fill that gap. What are you waiting for? What is that thing that you're waiting for? What do you know that you have that you can use to meet a need? What is that need you're seeing? That means you need to be vigilant and ask the question, what can I do for you? What would I help you do? Look, I could share a lot of stories here about how people have come to know people and giving them positions just because they offered to do things for them voluntarily. And you know, one of the best things that you can do is that you need to use what you have. David did not have the expertise of the other soldiers. He was not trained to fight, but he used what he had, the sling. He used what he had, the stone. What do you have? Even God had to ask, what is in your hand? What do you have in your hand? You may not be as educated and be able to speak a lot of English, but beloved, I can assure you that you have something in your hand with which you can use to meet that gap. I don't know about so much of the educational level of the Wright brothers, but they were able to put things together, and from there, the helicopter aeroplanes began to grow. People would come and improve, and their names are there. They took their place in the stage of life. And you know what? Give it your best. Your very best at all times. There's this saying that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. You may not have another opportunity to impress the person, so give it your best shot. If you're called to make a speech and you know that this is your time, this is what you have to do, give it the best. You're called to come, even to sweep, give it your best. You're called to come make a dish, give it your best. Whatever you're called to come and do, whatever the gap it is you're feeling, give it your best. People are celebrated because of what they can do with what they have and because they do it well. Beloved, it's time for you to take your stage, climb the stage and begin to act, and stop being a spectator all your life. It's never too late to start. Whenever you start is your morning. So welcome to your morning. And I want to say to you, good morning. But just in case you are there and you're already into it, beloved, keep on mounting the stage and keep on acting and keep on being that real person that you are. I won't come your way again, but please don't forget to hit the notification button. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to share. And please give me a thumbs up, It will tell me that I'm doing something. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. I want to know your impression about what this channel is all about. Bye-bye until I come your way again.